We are excited about the elaboration room.
I am excited about this.
Welcome to the Elaboration Room with Reverend Yo and Reverend Harris.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Elaboration Room with two sisters of one. I like saying that. Sisters. Wow, I was so loud right then. My mic went ping. Sisters of one. And we want to thank you for viewing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for supporting these two sisters on this journey. We are excited each time we bring you a new topic, each time we are able to have a conversation, and we hope that we are sparking conversations in your circles, whether you're talking about how crazy those two girls are, or whether we are really giving you something else to consider. Yes. And if we are, drop us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what improvements you may want to see in what we're doing, and let us know some topics that you would like to have us talk about. We are open up to whatever topic you want to bring to the table. We will try our best to address it. So tonight we are talking about showing up early. Showing up early. And our Reverend Yo is going to take it away. Go ahead, Reverend Yo.
Well, first of all, what does it mean to show up early? It can be polite. It can be not. It can be polite, and it can be not. So showing up early can be two different aspects, but tonight we're going to twist that, and we're going to talk about showing up early like Jesus did. Early in the morning. Early in the morning. The Bible reminds us that early in the morning that Jesus got up in the morning and he stole away. And also, what was that to do? To pray. Because I believe that was one of our topics, wasn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
We talked about prayer. But showing up early can be good, and it can also be bad. So when you're showing up early, we show up early for several things. Me, I like to show up early for work. I like to show up early for church. Basically, I like to show up early everywhere that I go, because either me, I'm showing up early to assist, and I always show up early because I'm also leaving early. So that's the part on that.
Sounds like you're balancing it out.
I'm balancing out my time, because I've learned when I show up early, the host always needs help doing something. So I show up early because then I can help the host. And then as things are moving on, I can tidy up a little more things for, whatever is going on. Wash a few dishes, help them out. Same when I go.
Sound like the best guest, girl.
I come early because I also know I'm leaving early, because I basically leave before the real party starts, basically. So I show up, I help, I clean up, because then I feel like, okay, if you fed me, then I did my work. And then I always like to take a host gift of places that I go. So I show up early for several reasons. But when we're talking about showing up early, let's switch that for a moment. Do we show up early for church?
I do.
Or do we come in right when church starts? Or do we come in after church has already started, maybe 30 minutes? Or do we show up only to hear the preacher preach? Or do we only show up to hear the choir sing? So how do we show up when we show up? Do we show up prepared or unprepared? Do we show up ready to listen and learn, or do we show up to check the box? And I'm saying all that because I really want you to understand that when you show up for places and you show up at events or even your work, do you show up prepared or do you show up to check a box? How do you show up, sis?
Do I show up prepared?
Not necessarily meaning you, just when we're talking about this showing up, how some don't show up, they don't come to work prepared. They don't come to church
Mhm.
prepared. They're not even really prepared, period. How do you show up when you show up? How are we supposed to show up when we show up? We're supposed to come prepared and ready at all times.
Yes, we are.
We,
Yes, we are.
being that we are in different leadership, in different leadership roles than most people, we show up always early and prepared.
That's right. And I show up early to get others prepared
Mhm.
for what they're going to need to do in the liturgy. But that's because that's my job. But you want to ask yourself, am I really interested in what's going on? Am I really interested in what is about to happen? Because when you show up early, you are allowing others to note the interest you
That's right.
have in what is about to go on.
And that's in either place. That's at work or church. That's
Yeah.
even in life in general. Because when we show up, I always tell my employees, show up early. Because if you show up right when you're supposed to show up and you in your room, you're getting coffee, you talking, now you actually late for work.
Yeah.
But if you show up early and get your coffee and do your talking in the lunchroom, now you on time when time starts.
That's right. And you know what? Showing up early for me, it allows me a moment to breathe and get myself together.
Yes.
And
yes.
that alleviates a great deal of stress.
Yes, because you're not rushing in
That's
and
right.
doing what you have. Now, sometimes we can't show up early because traffic or accidents or whatever may happen on the road. But 90% of the time, 99.9% of the time, we up early. Because when you're up early and you're moving early, you show up early. So last week we talked about prayer. And so when we're talking about this prayer conversations and you want to spend time with God, you got to get up early in the morning to do that.
That's true. Well,
You
for
don't have to do it late in the evening, because the Bible says that Jesus got up early in the morning while it was still dark, and he departed and went away to a place where he could do what? Pray.
That's right.
So we talked about prayer last week in our show. So if this week we're talking about that showing up early, you got to show up ready. Even to be in prayer, you got to show up early.
And when you want to relate it to the God relationship, we cannot wait to get ourselves together. If ever we needed to be early in doing something, it is in living right and being obedient to God.
Yes.
So we can't wait till the last minute. In the book of Mark, we're told to be on guard and be alert because we don't know the day, time, or hour. Nope. So you don't want to be late in living right. We need to be working on that now. And so that means we need to start now. It's starting early.
Yeah.
It's starting early by doing it now.
Yeah. Because when we're showing up and we're showing up prepared and we're showing up ready, we're showing up with expectation. It's kind of like when you come to church, you're expecting God to do something. You're expecting God to move. God, I'm here. I'm coming with a clear heart and a clear mind. I'm showing up on time because I'm expecting you to do something for me in this service today. I didn't lollygag around getting here.
I like that word.
I prepared myself. What'd you say?
I said I like that word because my husband used it. Don't be lollygagging.
I got up early, Lord. I got prepared. I cleared my mind. I cleared my heart. I showed up because I'm expecting you to do something today because I showed up and I showed up early. Instead of I'm coming in here when I feel like it, how I feel like it, and how I want to, and I want you to do something. We have to show up early and be prepared for everything.
Think about it when you were a child, okay, and Christmas was coming. Who got up early? I know I got up early. I know my kids, they would get up early. We get up early. We show up early when something really matters to us.
Other than the club before 10.
What? What you mean other than, okay, you lost me. What?
Show up early for something other than the club before 10.
Okay, okay. And that reminded me because you when we started out, you said there's a good aspect and then there's a bad aspect. So to show up early in the club is bad?
Because we show up early for things that we want to do, but we don't show up early for the things that we're required to do.
Oh, is that okay? So what's the bad part? I want to know you never talked about the bad piece. You said there's a good part and then there's a bad.
Because showing up early sometimes can be a bad thing because some people don't necessarily want you to show up early. Some people can find it, some people can be offensive if you show up to their house early because they may not be prepared. They may not be ready to receive their guests. So you showing up early, I'm not ready. So that can be a bad thing because everybody don't want people arriving to their house early.
But they set the time. So they set the time for 5 o'clock and you get there at 4:45.
That's early. That's still early. They still got 15 minutes to prepare.
I just wanted to know what was the bad part because when you said that, I was like, okay.
Because it's good for some, like places I go and I intentionally show up early, they already know Yolanda's coming early. For example, I have a cousin. Anytime she invite me, she know I'm coming early. She'll be telling what time you coming. It can start at 3, but I'm gonna be there by 1:32. She already know.
That's big time early.
She already know because I'm showing up to help her get prepared. I'm showing up to help her do whatever she wants because she knows soon as dark roll around, Yolanda's out the door.
Okay.
But for somebody else to show up early, that's just because, think about it. If you invite everybody to come to your house at 6 o'clock, they show up between 5:30 and 5:45. You're not ready because you're expecting people to come at 6 o'clock. So technically, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So now your guest is just sitting around looking, twiddling their fingers because you're not prepared to receive your guests. So you can't show up early all the time.
But see, that becomes confusing for people as to, well, she said 6 o'clock. So I guess if I'm there at 6, then that's fine. But if I get there at 5:45, I don't know. But I feel like even the host needs to be prepared early.
It could go either way. Like if I'm having something, we ready on time.
That's right.
People anywhere from 30 to 15 minutes prior to.
That's right.
We are not doing things as people are coming in. I'm prepared for people to show up early, but everybody may not be prepared for people to show up early. It's good to show up early for work. It's good to show up early for an interview. It's good to show up early for church. But when you're showing up early to someone else's home, you have to be respectful because it's just out of courtesy. If I'm telling you to come at 6 o'clock, show up at 6 o'clock. I didn't actually show up at 5:30. I actually show up at 6 o'clock.
Well, see, that's when you throw humankind into the equation, then you get muddled. You get muddled. I mean, your clarity becomes like cloudy. But when God is in the equation, we are told that we don't know God's timing.
Yes.
So just be prepared. God's timing is the perfect timing. Just be prepared. Don't know when the Savior's coming back. Just be prepared. So do it early.
But you have to realize it's some of us, it's our traits to show up early because we consider it promptness and being polite. But sometimes we show up early even when it's not really necessary for us to show up early. It's just who we are, thinking that if I'm showing up early, I'm being polite and I'm being courteous to the guests because they told me to be here by 6 o'clock. Well, I'm gonna show up at 5:30, 5:45. But it's just who we are in being polite and courteous to what you invited me to do. But many people don't think on that same aspect of showing up early is important.
Well, see, and there you go. That word right there, important. I feel like people's time, it's important. And showing up early, being on time is showing respect
Mm-hmm.
for someone else's time, respect for my time. I'm not saying that I am perfect and that I show up early or that I am on time all the time, but when I am late, those moments when I am late, it hurts me to my core because I feel like I'm showing disrespect for someone else's time.
That is true.
And time is valuable.
It
Anybody
is.
noticing all the hands in the room? Raise your hand if you think time and life is moving so fast. Yes, yes. We don't have time to waste.
But we also have to realize that when the hosts invite you somewhere, we also have to realize that 15 minutes that we're arriving early can also be the time for them to be wrapping up last minute things, cleaning up, moving stuff around. It can be a crucial moment for them. And when we're arriving early, it to me, it may put them in even more stress if they know you're not coming early.
Okay.
That's just on one
I
side.
understand what you're saying. So you show up early, maybe not 15 minutes. Well, you sit in your car for a bit
Oh, but you
so
still
that you are at that door on time.
yeah, you're fine that way.
On time.
Because
That's it.
people like me, I feel I have to be early or definitely leave my house enough time to get somewhere early. Because if I could be early for everything else, I could be early for this. But me, because the roads we travel from where we are going anywhere, an accident can make us late. Traffic
Yes.
can make us, anything can
There are
happen.
those unforeseen things.
Me,
Yes.
yeah, make me late. So I like to leave in enough time that even if I am late, I'm still on time, if that makes sense.
Yes. No,
Okay.
it does. It
Yeah.
does.
So even though I'm late, I'm still on time because my 15 to 20 minute window is now gone because I had a 15-20 minute delay. Instead of me leaving when I can get there at this exact time, something happened. Now I'm 15 to 20 minutes late and everybody waiting on me before we can even eat dinner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you know what? When it comes for like church, showing up early, there's a reason for it.
Yes.
Because you come in and you center yourself.
Yes.
You're not necessarily coming in and having big conversations.
Yes.
You need to get to your seat and
pray.
center yourself. And hopefully your pastor is playing some great music that is getting you into a mode of worship and celebration because that's what you're coming for. Yeah. And so that showing up early gives you that space.
Mm-hmm. So things to show up early for: church, work, and if you bring in a dish at Thanksgiving.
Why they need to show up early if they bring, in case it needs to be heated?
Don't show up with your gift late and then we still got
and
warm it up.
Yes.
Show up prepared and ready. Some things we could be late for, some things we cannot.
I like that. If you are bringing a gift at a dish at Thanksgiving.
Yes. We hope y'all laughing with us because I'm serious about that last one though. If you got it,
I know you are.
Table, please don't show up late because I will start my meal without your dish.
You know, and the plates are already made, and here you come walking in with the collard greens. Come on.
Show up early.
Show up early.
Show up.
So they can be heated up and put on the table proper.
They should already be heated up and ready when you show up.
Okay, come on. Cut some slack. Anyway, we hope we have given you something else to consider. We are not experts by any means, but we are two spiritual sisters just trying to be obedient to God's call on our life. So we are trying to show up early every Monday. Every Monday on Facebook and YouTube. We hope that you share what the shows that you've seen, because I think about it all the time. We never know who else needs to hear this.
No matter how small you may think it is, it may be big to someone else.
Yes.
Each show that we do, we really, some we laugh, we make it fun, we kid around, but in all seriousness, we really think about the topics that we are bringing forth. We really think about the topics that even some of you have texted to us and suggested. We really think about what we're doing, but we still like to make it fun and have our little jokes, because it's not all about riggy, serious. We like to have fun, but we really hope that you've learned something in watching any of our shows, because we really do put a little laughter and fun into it.
Yeah.
We really do.
We pour ourselves in.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
All right. So once again, we thank you for joining us in the elaboration room with two sisters of one. We thank you for joining us. Remember, if there's anything you want us to discuss, drop it down in the chat box and we will pull it up. And never know, we may be airing your topic. So as always, we want you to be brave, be strong, and be different. Ask and it will be given unto you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open unto you. Believe in yourself and encourage yourself. But in all things, remember, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Peace and blessings, my brothers and sisters, until we see you again in the elaboration room with two sisters in one. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
The Elaboration Room with two sisters of one. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode every Monday at 6 p.m.